格闘キャストへようこそ。僕の名前はナオトです。
Shin desu. Today we have an English episode. I know we mainly post our videos in Japanese, but recently it's come to my attention that we have some English-speaking viewers.
Yes.
And so from here on out, we will also like to post some videos in English.
Once in a while.
Yes. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button.
Do it.
Let's get this thing started.
Yes.
Our guest today is Paul Salud. Is that correct? From Powcast.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Powcast is an independent online sports media channel producing video commentary, vlogs, podcasts, interviews, live coverage, highlights, written articles, and much more. Thank you for coming on our channel.
It's my pleasure.
So recently there's been a lot of interesting things happening within the bantamweight division in boxing. I believe even the American media doesn't really know what exactly happened as we don't speak the language. But you do. And you always cover boxing on your channel. So I wanted to ask you, what really happened with the Riel Casimero versus Nonito Donaire fight? Because from what I understand, during the Naoya Inoue versus Michael Dasmariñas fight, Nonito Donaire replaced Guillermo Rigondeaux for the fight. Casimero started his trash talking like he always does. Nonito Donaire's wife and manager, Rachel Donaire, gets involved in the trash talk. MP Promotion, Sean Gibbons gets involved with the trash talk. And I believe Casimero's strength coach, Angel Hernandez, also gets involved. Starts this big feud. And eventually, Rachel and Nonito Donaire feel disrespected and pulls out of the fight. And somewhere in between there's the whole VADA drug testing scandal. Rachel Donaire demands VADA testing for the fight. Casimero's team apparently delays the test, but eventually submits to it, and the results come back clean. And then all of a sudden, Rigondeaux is back in the fight. See, this is what I thought, or what this is my perspective. This is what happened. So I want to know what really happened.
What are we missing?
What are we missing?
You seem to know a big chunk of the story anyway. So, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. Maybe you should do if you're considering English, maybe you want to do some Filipino language as well, because there's a lot of Filipino watching your show because of the Casimero and Naoya Inoue potential fight that we wanted to see.
Yes.
First of all, I think Casimero wanted that fight before the Donaire fight. He wanted to get Donaire because he wanted to fight whoever got the belt. Now the situation, you got the big chunk of the story here, but the main reason why the fight got canceled was you got it right. They got really disrespected. There were some allegations from the camp of Donaire regarding the VADA testing, but apparently they didn't really want to push through, even though Casimero said yes because they were too late. I mean, the fight is still a long way to go. So, but I think it's just, I think that the reason for the cancellation, in my opinion, it's maybe because of the disrespect. I don't think Nonito Donaire expected that kind of approach from a fellow Filipino. Especially, they were cordial when they saw each other during the event of Michael Dasmariñas. The fight happened, the exchange happened because I think the promotion PBC thought that the Donaire Casimero is more intriguing. And it is. I mean, when that fight was announced, we were talking about that fight more than the Spence and Pacquiao fight here in the Philippines.
Oh, really? That big?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
The trash talk helped a lot because Pacquiao, and then of course, since it's Filipino, between Filipinos and in the Philippines, we like telenovela, drama. There's a lot of drama involved. So even non-boxing fans got involved. Unfortunately, it's just too hot for the Donaire camp, and it fell off.
So it's mainly because of the trash talk that Nonito Donaire felt like he wanted to pull out of the fight, and not the drug testing.
I mean, if it was the drug testing, I mean, even though it was late, I mean, the fight is still far ahead. I mean, they could still reconsider it. But I think Nonito Donaire's camp wanted to take charge and wanted to also prove that they can do whatever they want, and
Right.
they needed that respect. They wanted to have a sorry from General Casimero's camp, and I talked to them. They said they're not gonna say sorry because they didn't do anything wrong from their camp, and they were clean. So I guess the camp of Donaire, which also I know them as well, and I have big respect to both camp, but they just didn't want to push through with it after all of the trash talking back and forth.
There was a lot of trash talking. Although it's
A little bit personal under the belt.
It got a little bit personal, but it's very funny that the two people fighting actually didn't say a word to each other. It was all the managers talking to each other.
Well, actually,
from what I understand, because I don't
did.
speak the language. Yes, what were they saying to each other? I really want to know.
There are a lot of things that has been said, and I don't know if you saw the video of Riel Donaire and Nonito Donaire with Mark Silvervoice,
the Silvervoice, yes, the translator,
companion of Casimero.
Yes.
There's
I
a
watched
lot
that.
of back and forth in Tagalog. They were talking about, of course, the disrespect, the family, the family get involved, the father, everyone, and then of course the one of the big issue there was the act of Memo Heredia that was caught on video where
snack on my
made a big thing. Yeah, that one I don't want to say it, but you know that.
Yes.
And then the other issue there was I think Riel Donaire felt disrespected because she is a woman, and she couldn't make a decision why you're getting involved. And then Donaire is being, of course, because he's a man, he's the boxer. Why is the wife talking? Those type of things. And
Right.
it was really dirty, especially here for the Philippines. Casimero is very popular here. A lot of people like him, but because of his character, which is not a lot of people embrace villain role, right?
Right.
So he embraces that. So because of that too, he gets a lot of bash and hates as well. I don't know if you know that from Japan. But one thing I wanted to say, and I talked to Mark and their camp before this interview. They wanted to have the Japanese fans clear that Genre Casimero is a clean fighter. One of the other issues that they wish to make sure that the boxing fans in Japan knows, because Naoya also interjected the statement regarding the issue about the drug testing about Casimero not being clean. Casimero is a clean fighter. I want to say this, and I know I've been talking a lot too much already.
No, please.
But the association with Memo Heredia in his past, past is past, and Memo Heredia has worked with other boxers right now and for a while now, and has been clean. So maybe it's that as well, because that was part of the conversation.
Yes. Naoya Inoue did. He didn't outright accuse Casimero taking steroids, but he hinted at it pretty strongly. So a lot of the Japanese fans kind of went on along the same lines, and they kind of assumed Casimero is taking steroids. But it also has to do with Memo Hernandez being Casimero's strength coach, I believe. He was a former discus thrower, I believe, who was doping with HGS and testosterone. And after that, became an athletic coach and started creating his own concoction, his own substance of EPO, testosterone, and growth hormone combined together, which is obviously not good for the sports, but he must be very smart to be able to pull that off. But later on, you served as a witness for the FBI in USADA during the Balco scandal. And it's very interesting because Balco was founded by Victor Conte, right?
Which is also under Donaire's camp.
Yes, you know. It's very like coincidence or ironic, I should say. Victor,
my opinion in this, I wish the fight could have gone through. I think that's a better matchup, and it's the first time for Filipino boxing history that unification would happen between two Filipinos. That could have been history. I hope it would still happen if Casimero get past Guillermo Rigondeaux. But yeah, things happened.
Yeah, it's too bad. Hopefully they can meet again in the future. But I also wanted to ask you about the Filipino fans' reaction to this whole situation and which boxer they support. Because in America, I think it's about half-half. Some fans are like, well, good for Donaire pulling out of the fight. Can't forgive that kind of trash talk. And some other fans are like, imagine if Oscar De La Hoya pulled out of the Mayorga fight because of trash talk, or Sugar Ray Leonard pulling out of the Roberto Duran fight because of the trash talk. None of those legendary fights that have happened. And Japanese are 100%, let's say 99% on Donaire's side.
Yes.
They call Casimero a steroid user, disrespectful, and not champion-like. But what do the Filipino fans think?
Okay. You're kind of breaking up there, but
sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I was just asking you what the Filipino fans think
okay.
about the situation. Who do they support in this?
Well, the Filipino boxing fans are getting a lot of entertainment out of this, but since it's two Filipinos, I would still say half and half. Actually, more of Casimero, because Casimero is more of the Filipino because he's born here in the Philippines, and he is right now. I mean, Nonito Donaire has accomplished a lot, but as of this moment, Casimero has, I believe, the bigger fan base in the Philippines. And a lot of fans understand why Casimero is doing it, but some fans are saying that I mean, he has go beyond trash talk, that it's just too personal. But let me tell you, I think maybe 70% Casimero, maybe 70% Casimero, because Casimero, since the Donaire fight was announced, I mean, his social media channels, a lot of viewers, a lot of supporters. Even on my channel, when I talk about this topic, and I talk in favor of Donaire, a lot of people are trash talking me. Hey, you should favor Casimero.
Oh wow!
Yes.
We get the opposite. We get hate for talking about Casimero.
And animal names. Did it reach Japan? How he calls Nonito Donaire? What he calls Nonito Donaire?
I believe he came out on ES News and he called him something. What was it? I forget, but it wasn't nice. I remember that.
Oh no!
It wasn't really nice.
No, it was not nice.
Because we called that name like well, all of the name callings are not nice anyway.
It's true.
What he called it's not nice. Well, I also get a lot of heat from that, because I mean, we have to be in a way fair. In a way, you're Japanese and Filipino. We obviously have our old partisans, but in a way, we need to be fair with this one. But what he called Nonito Donaire also irked a lot of Filipino fans, because the stinky fish term, I said it.
Yes.
Because it's there anyway. It's meant to call a Filipino who doesn't look back at his heritage. Like you smell like a stinky fish if you don't look back at you being a Filipino.
Right.
So it wasn't good. But I mean, it's part of the show. It's part of the Casimero show.
Yeah,
it's part of the Casimero show.
The villain.
If you met Casimero, have you met Casimero?
Not personally, no.
Have you seen him personally?
No.
No, he's very nice.
Oh, really?
Very nice, very game, and he always oblige. If he wants a video, if he wants an interview, he even joke around so much. He's a funny guy. That's the true Casimero.
Right.
But he knows how to act, and he found his calling, or he found his character, and he is being embraced as a villain, as an angas, which is in English someone that has spunk. So that's why he stick to it.
It's he's doing a very good job of using the SNS in his favor, the SNS weapon in his favor. And he's getting a lot of media coverage because he also trains with Manny Pacquiao, and they're both fighting around the same time. But if Casimero can KO Rigondeaux in a spectacular fashion, he could possibly overtake Inoue and Naoya in the States, at least in terms of popularity. I think so. Because while Rigondeaux isn't
coming from a Japanese fan, wow!
In the States, because Naoya Inoue, he's very famous in Japan, but in the States, he kind of just made his debut with the Das Marinas fight, and they're really promoting him. But I think if Casimero, he's making a lot of noise with the trash talking. You see him next to Manny Pacquiao training. Manny Pacquiao and him have the same. They're fighting in the same month. It's
Also-
very set up for Casimero to make a big appearance in the States.
Also, he knocked out a world champion.
And Guillermo, even though he's just a regular champion, is a big name for
Yes.
the boxing industry,
Yes,
especially
yes.
the one that knows. I mean, if he beats Guillermo Rigondeaux convincingly, even without the belt, because I don't believe the WBA regular belt is going to be part of the fight.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's gonna be a big name under his collar, and hopefully Naoya Inoue, any Japanese fan, please have Naoya Inoue fight Casimero, or I know Casimero wants, because I know from my side. I don't know what's happening, because I've heard that from the Japanese it's Casimero that doesn't want the fight. Casimero wants the fight. The fighters want the fight. I know Naoya wants the fight. But it's beyond the boxers too. There's negotiation happening. And
Yes.
such and such.
Yes, yes. Also, just along the lines of Casimero gaining popularity in the States, he also is studying English, I believe, right? His English is getting better. He can put words together. He can trash talk in English. I think that's pretty big. Listen, if Inoue and I can say even two words in English,
It's fun.
like if he can say "shut up"
Go
to
ahead.
Casimero in English, he would get popular pretty fast.
No, yeah, yeah. One thing about the American boxing fans is that, aside from the action, they like the action before the action. They like the talks,
Yes.
and that's what get you attention. And I think that's a very good plan for Casimiro. In the Philippines, we don't have a lot of trash talker. In fact, I would consider her as the only one that can trash talk, especially those type of words. So he's like in a different basket. Every Filipino boxers, most of them are like Manny Pacquiao, humble, doesn't speak too much. But Casimero is in a different basket, and that's why a lot of people know him, even here and outside.
He does stand out. He
It's
does
all
stand
just a
out.
show.
Right, right. He does a good job of putting on a character. Gets a lot of attention. Well, hopefully, if Casimero can beat Rigondeaux, he can have that fight with Naoya Inoue. I also heard Bob Arum, the promoter of Top Rank, talking about a possible fight with Nonito Donaire and Inoue Naoya. So I have a theory of why Nonito Donaire pulled out of the Casimero fight. I think he's gunning for that Inoue Naoya rematch, and just him making a fight with Casimero kind of put him back in that map, let's say, of being, of the bantamweight championship, like the belt gatherer. Let's call him that.
For the
I'm
undisputed.
Yes,
going
for
to
the
give you my
undisputed.
perspective on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to give you my perspective, okay? Nonito Donaire, I mean, he was my idol before Casimero. I like this guy. He's very good. He's very popular before Casimero. And he's very smart. Pulling out of that fight, it's like when you resign from a job, you have to make sure that you land a new job, or you already have an offer. So I'm almost certain that fight could happen, would happen. There's a lot of interest, especially in Japan, because Donaire is much more popular in Japan. And so the interest, and I believe Bob Arum, who is some people, a quote that likes to protect his fighters. So in order to build him up, that they believe that the Nonito Donaire fight is winnable because Naoya already won against Nonito Donaire.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
there's an opportunity, since Donaire is now a WBC champ and he has that leverage to fight again, and he wanted to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe Naoya and Nonito Donaire wanted to fight each other anyway in the first place.
Right.
Because they believe it makes more sense for the Japanese fans and for Bob Arum. That's what Casimero camp is thinking, because Casimero is just, there's a lot of unpredictability in his power and his styles,
Mm-hmm.
that it may be too much of a risk this early, especially Naoya is just being introduced in the US.
Yes, definitely. It is a risky fight. But all three of them are gunning for the undisputed title. So eventually, they're gonna have to fight each other. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I also wanted to ask you, what do the Filipino fans think about Naoya Inoue? He beat their hero Nonito Donaire. He beat a lot of Filipino boxers, I believe. What do they think about him?
He potentially can beat a lot more.
Yes. What do they think about him?
Because a lot of Filipino bantamweights are ranked right now. A lot of upcoming Filipino bantamweights. That's our sweet spot in Asia, especially the bantamweight. To be honest with you, real boxing fans like Naoya Inoue. I like Naoya Inoue. I mean, he's very good. He's very complete. And the small guy who packs a lot of power and punch. I mean, I salute him. And I've seen his fight. I've spoken to most of the Filipino that he spar personally. And they only have good things to say. Like KJ, Albert Pagara, Michael Dasmariñas. They all went to Japan and spar. And one thing that they always say that's the same, and this guy punch really hard. Even if you block it, you will feel it.
Right.
So, I mean, Naoya has a reputation here for being strong. And but a lot of Casimero fans wants to see that fight. And you please accept our apology if we say Naoya is scared because we want to see that fight.
No, I think
a lot of Filipinos gonna say that.
Right. So they fully support Casimero. I mean, it's not like they dislike Naoya, you know. They know he's a strong boxer, but obviously you'll support your home countrymen if they do happen to clash.
Yes.
I understand that.
We just wanted to see the fight. I mean, because we want to see good fights, and we think that it's good for both boxer. It's of course very good for Casimero if he beats Naoya Inoue. But once and for all, I mean, Naoya. I mean, if he's watching, if he could translate it, please fight Casimero soon, especially if he wants. If he don't win, then it's a problem.
Yes.
So that, I mean, you can shut up Casimero.
Yes. I think a lot of the Japanese boxing fans want to see the fight too. Definitely more than Rigondeaux versus Naoya Inoue. Speaking of which, how do you see the Casimero versus Rigondeaux fight going down?
Oh wow! Okay.
That's a tough question.
Some people think. Well, it is a tough question, but I will answer that for you because I've been asked of that many times here in the Philippines. Some of the people here believe that the Guillermo fight could be a lot more trickier than the Nonito Donaire fight, because the Nonito Donaire at this stage of his career kind of engages in the fight now, like back and forth. But Guillermo Rigondeaux is a much more technical, skillful fighter, being an Olympic medalist, gold medal, and he uses a lot of footworks and skills. And Casimero, as you know, he likes to fight, he likes to brawl, he uses his power. So the question here is if he can land that power against a very slick fighter in Guillermo Rigondeaux. There is also kind of a joke here. When he was here, so how would you land a punch against Guillermo? He has a very small head as well. Very small head. That's what we call. So expect a body shot to come in as well, because the body, at least, it's easier to move. It's a trickier fight. A lot of people said that if it goes to a decision, maybe Guillermo is gonna win this, and that's why Casimero on the latest press con has been saying, "Go toe to toe with me, so that we can have a fight. We can have a good fight. There's a little bit of trash talking. Don't run away, yada yada yada."
Yeah.
Because he wanted to get that fight. I think Casimero, if his camp is listening, he should use the type of trash talking they did to Nonito Donaire, so he can try to get in the head of Guillermo, so Guillermo will be angry and really fight. But he's professional, so I'm sure it's gonna be hard. But it's gonna be a tricky situation here. I still see Casimero knocking out Guillermo, or if it goes to a decision, that's the hard part for me. So I see Casimero really pushing here to get a knockout, especially, he wants to impress and get the fight with Naoya Inoue.
Yes, a knockout will definitely help boost his cause, let's say, in getting the Inoue and Naoya fight.
let me just add this before that. Sorry, a lot of people are underestimating the skills of Casimero when it comes to boxing. He looks a little bit awkward, but he has beaten a lot of. He has beaten Olympian as well and good boxers. So I'm sure they have a good plan for this, and as well as Guillermo Rigondeaux. Anyway.
Yes, I mean, if you just look at the results, Casimero, he's on I think a 6-fight knockout streak.
Wow.
He's a three-time world champ. I mean, three-time three-weight world champion. So
Yes.
you can't quite say he just swings wildly and has power, so he gets lucky every time. It's kind of hard to make that argument.
Or he's just that lucky.
Yes, he has skills. I've been watching a lot of Casimero fights recently, and it's very interesting how he does he lands the damaging shots or gets the knockout. It does look like he swings wildly, especially after he hurts the opponent. But within those wild shots, he's always faithful in sneaking in these small punches. And those small punches are actually the ones that do damage. It's very interesting. I don't know if it's on purpose or he just happens to do it, but he does it, and he does it in all his fights. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's why an Oya fight is interesting. Come on, let's do this.
I want to see that fight. I want to see that fight. Last question. I wanted to ask you, before Casimero was famous, I mean, he's quite well known in the Philippines now, and he has a lot of supporters. But before that, was he disfavored as a boxer? Because looking at his record, he never challenged for a world title in his home country. So every time he won the world championship, it was in outside his home country of the Philippines, and probably in the opponent's home country, as a matter of fact. And even when he won the title, I believe he has 7 world title defenses, and only 2 of them were in the Philippines. But I mean, normally when you become the champion, can't you have the challenger come to you? I think that would be more normal, but that's not the case with Casimero, and I kind of wanted to know why.
Okay, and here's the situation here in the Philippines. Might be a little bit different in Japan, because I think Japan has a bigger and healthier boxing industry there. In the Philippines, promoting boxing is really very hard. Now, Casimero has been in different promotions throughout his career. I believe he was with Omega Sports Promotions, and we transferred to another coach. So he has a manager, but doesn't really have a big time promotion who can spend money to invite fighters to fight here in the Philippines. It's not because he's not favored. It's because it makes a lot more money sense, financial sense, to fight outside and get the money. Because boxing is a poor man's sport, especially in the Philippines. We don't want to spend even pay-per-views, and we don't even have pay-per-views here. And it's always for free. So you got to get a lot of sponsors. So the easiest way, if you're the manager, is to be a road warrior and fight. And it works out well with him. I think he's the only fighter who has a lot of wins outside the country fighting for a world title shot. So it favored him. Again, all Filipino, especially if he's fighting a non-Filipino, I mean, people are going to favor him. He's not this trash talker before. He didn't get this much coverage before. So we don't know if he's humble or... So we kind of tag Filipino most of the time as humble because of Manny Pacquiao.
Yes.
So it's because of the opportunity. Nothing else. It's just there's no opportunity. It doesn't make sense for the Philippines to have a world title fight here because of the money.
Right.
He wasn't with Pacquiao then, by the way.
Sorry?
He wasn't with Manny Pacquiao promotion then.
Right. He wasn't with
Even
any
now
promotions.
with MP promotion, he just had one fight here, which is Ramirez, and it's all expenses.
Right. That's tough, but it's a tough situation. But it all worked out because he got the belts, right? I mean, he had to do it by knockout, but I think that contributed to his very aggressive and exciting style. He just has to get the knockout to win those fights.
Yeah, and people getting used to Pacquiao winning in the past, and that's how boxing elevated here with all of those knockouts. Even if Pacquiao, I mean, if he doesn't get a knockout, some of us would consider it as a non-win. It's not a loss, but we always expect a knockout from Pacquiao because we got used to it. So when Casimero is knocking out opponent, I mean, we're happy because we believe that the Filipino warriors, boxers are strong, and we always believe when we're fighting outside, it has to be a knockout or else you're going to lose.
Wow.
Right. Well, hopefully Casimero can get a knockout again. I mean, I'm a fan of Rigondeaux as well. He's a very slick boxer, but as far as boxing from here on out and who I want to see fight who, I would like to see Casimero win this fight. There's more drama. There's better fights to make if Casimero wins. So hopefully Casimero can take it.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, yes, of course.
And let me reverse the question. I mean, you said you want Casimero to win, but who do you think would win?
Oh,
who do you think has the edge? Guillermo or Casimero? I want to know from a Japanese perspective.
This is a tough one, but I mean, Rigondeaux is. I mean, he's such a good. He's such a good counter puncher. He's such a good counter puncher. He's very good at changing the speed. He's very smart. He shows a slow movement. The opponent adjusts to that, and then all of a sudden he speeds up and he lands this counter shot from nowhere. So it's gonna be tough for Casimero to hurt him, but if he can hurt him, Rigondeaux, he's pushing 40, I believe, and he was never known to have a hard chin or an iron chin. I think he's been knocked down several times by not such powerful or impactful shots. And Casimero's a finisher. If he hurts you, it's very likely he's going to finish you. So the problem for Casimero would be getting that shot in. And I think he can do it. Within 12 rounds, he can do it. He can hurt him. And once he hurts him, he can definitely finish him. So I do have Casimero winning by KO.
Wow, thank you. Good job.
No, I looked at both fighters, and it's the safer bet when you think about Rigondeaux pushing 40 and not being able to withstand.
Do you actually bet?
Well, actually, you can't legally bet in Japan, sadly.
Casimero's team said 6 rounds.
6 rounds? Oh, KO.
You know the last fight with Duke Micah?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
He bet on himself.
Oh, yeah. By knockout?
Yeah. By knockout. 2nd and 3rd round. And that's why he did it.
Oh, is that why
he was showing him a lot of money?
Is that why he was pushing?
I was asking him, what are you betting? What round? So they said 6.
Oh.
Put your money on 6 then.
6 it is. 6 it is.
6 it is.
But this one is a tougher one.
Oh, definitely a tougher fight for Casimero, but I do believe he can pull it off. With the Duke Micah fight, he was pretty wild, I guess, but now we know why he wanted the knockout within 3 rounds, right?
Yeah.
But he looked great in the Tete fight. He was much more sneaky in the Tete fight, and he probably would go with that approach with this one.
Yeah, the coach at Tete fight is back.
Oh, wonderful.
His coach at Duke Micah is different.
Oh, really?
And the coach at Tete fight, the coaches that he had right now is Donaire from the Philippines, which is the same coach at the Tete fight, plus the assistant coach of Tyson Fury, which is Capitilio.
Yes.
So, yeah, those are the boxing coaches.
Well, we can expect a good performance from Casimero then.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time. We must do a post-fight interview with you when the fight's done.
Sure, brother. I'll interview you next time when the Naoya Inoue fight happened, so we can drill you down.
We would love to. We would love to do that. Well, thank you so much for your time. Good luck with everything. And see you soon.
Thank you very much for inviting me. If you have any viewers that like Filipino boxing or boxing in general, I got a lot of Tagalog or Filipino language boxing contents, but I do every now and then do English as well because of the international followers.
Yes.
Please do check out my channel as well, Powcast Sports.
Yes, subscribe to Powcast Sports.
Do it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.